Okay, so when I say the word Sony, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a ton of people, it's going to be the PlayStation, right? For others, maybe it's that great pair of headphones you have or the TV sitting in your living room. But the thing is, the reality of this company is so much bigger, so much more complicated, and honestly, way more surprising than most of us even realize. And to get it, we need to look at a few things that, on the surface, have nothing to do with each other.
So, let me ask you a question. What do these things have in common? A huge blockbuster movie, your favorite video game console, the little piece of tech inside your phone's camera, and a life insurance policy. They seem totally random, don't they? Well, believe it or not, there's a single thread that ties them all together.
Yep, you guessed it. That thread, it's Sony. Every single one of these things comes from the exact same sprawling corporate giant. This isn't just an electronics company we're talking about. It's a full-blown media empire, a financial services powerhouse, a leader in semiconductors, and a cultural force that has been shaping our world for decades.
So how on earth did this happen? How did a company that started out in a bombed-out department store in post-war Tokyo grow into this global colossus? Well, it all started with this core belief in building truly groundbreaking technology.
It all kicked off back in 1946. With just 8 employees, Masaru Ibuka and Akio Morita started a little electronics shop. Their first product, funny enough, was an electric rice cooker that, well, let's just say it didn't cook rice very well. But they pivoted fast, releasing Japan's first tape recorder and then, in 1955, the absolute game changer, the TR-55 transistor radio. But it was the Walkman in 1979 that really put them into the stratosphere. It completely changed our relationship with music, forever.
And you know, even the name Sony tells you a lot about their ambition right from the jump. The founders wanted a name that was simple, easy to remember, and that anybody could pronounce anywhere in the world. So they mashed together the Latin word for sound, sonus, with sunny, like a young boy. For a Japanese company in the 1950s to use Roman letters instead of kanji, that was incredibly bold. It showed they were thinking globally from day one.
And this impact went way beyond just selling cool gadgets. Before Sony came along, the phrase "made in Japan" often suggested, well, cheap, kind of low-quality stuff. But Sony's obsession with quality and innovation just completely flipped that script. Products like their Trinitron TVs weren't just good, they were the best you could buy, and they helped build Japan's reputation as a world leader in high-tech.
But Sony's ambition didn't just stop with hardware. Not even close. By the late 1980s, the company made this massive pivot. They decided to go from just making the devices we use to creating the actual content we consume on them. This was the start of their entertainment empire.
In just 2 years, Sony went on an absolute spending spree, dropping over $5 billion to buy 2 giants of American culture, CBS Records, the home of artists like Michael Jackson, and Columbia Pictures, a legendary Hollywood studio. And then came the move that would define a generation. After a partnership with Nintendo to make a CD-ROM add-on for their console just completely fell apart, a pretty furious Sony president basically said, "Fine, we'll do it ourselves." The result was the PlayStation.
And the result? Whoa. It was staggering. The first PlayStation didn't just compete, it dominated. It grabbed over 60% of the entire market, totally shattering Nintendo's long-held lead and crowning Sony the new king of video games.
But, you know, it wasn't all just win after win. The company had this habit of creating its own proprietary standards, and sometimes that just backfired, spectacularly. The most famous example, of course, is the war between Betamax and VHS. Betamax was, without a doubt, the better technology. It had a sharper picture. But VHS could record for longer, and, this is the crucial part, its creator licensed the format out to everyone. In the end, it's a classic case, right? The better tech lost out to the better business strategy.
So, all this relentless growth, it ended up creating a whole new kind of monster. Sony wasn't just a sleek electronics innovator anymore. It had become this sprawling, complex beast, a corporate octopus, as some people called it, with its tentacles in dozens of different industries. And that massive size, it started to become a real problem.
The different parts of the company, electronics, music, movies, games, they were all operating as their own little kingdoms, or silos. They hardly ever talked to each other, let alone work together. I mean, the division that made the Walkman wouldn't cooperate with the division that ran the music label. This kind of internal friction was just killing innovation and absolutely crushing their bottom line.
And things got so bad that this pessimism, which had popped up briefly during a dip in the 80s, came back with a vengeance. Analysts started writing the company off for dead, saying the once great innovator had totally lost its way and its best days were long gone.
And if you need proof, just look at the numbers. To put it into perspective, just one division, their iconic TV business, lost a mind-boggling $7.8 billion over 10 years. The very company that practically defined the modern television was now getting absolutely crushed by faster, more focused competitors.
This chart right here gives you a really good snapshot of the modern Sony, and you can really see that octopus in action. Gaming is the biggest slice of the pie, for sure. But look at the rest. Music and movies together make up almost a quarter of their revenue. Financial services in Japan, that's a huge business for them. And that little slice there, imaging and sensing, yeah, that's the reason the camera on your smartphone is so good. Sony basically owns that market.
So how do you fix a crisis like this? Well, in 2012, CEO Kazuo Hirai launched what he called the One Sony initiative. The goal was simple, but man, it was a massive undertaking. Tear down the walls between those silos. He wanted the movie studio talking to the gaming division, and the camera engineers working with the smartphone teams. It was this huge effort to make the entire company feel like, well, one Sony again.
All right, so after all of that, the innovation, the massive growth, the crisis, and then the big comeback, where does a unified giant like Sony go from here? Well, they're once again looking to the future, and their plans are just as ambitious as they've ever been. The strategy has been pretty clear. First, shed the old businesses that were weighing them down, like their iconic Vaio PC brand. Then, merge the remaining electronics units to finally break down those silos for good. And with a much leaner company, they're now doubling down on future tech like AI and exploring totally new frontiers.
And this might be the most, whoa, really, move of them all. Sony, the company that gave us the Walkman and the PlayStation, is now getting into the car business. They've teamed up with the auto giant Honda to launch a whole new brand of electric cars called Afeela. And it's basically a rolling showcase of Sony's best sensor and entertainment technology.
So when you look at the whole story, it's clear Sony has never been about just one thing, right? It's a story of constant, relentless reinvention. They defined how we listen to music on the go. They defined how we play video games at home. Now they're taking a shot at redefining mobility itself. And it leaves us with one last, really fascinating question. What part of our world is Sony going to define next?